Welcome to Japan Seikatsu. Today I would like to speak to another Japanese, what I call superpower, which are cultural aspects of Japan that contribute to their success. And today it's respectfulness. Recently on the news, Hideki Matsuyama won the Masters tournament. And something that the international media picked up on was at the very end, the caddy gave a polite bow to the course. And this is a pattern that I've seen with coverage of sporting events related to Japan. So I remember in recent times there was another event where Japanese fans were cleaning up their section of the stadium. The media picked up on this. Another event where the Japanese sports players had cleaned up their locker room. And it was like pristine. And I think they did a comparison where you saw, like Team A and Team B. Team A's locker room was a complete mess. And the Japanese players had, kindly left it very clean. So this picks up a lot of attention when it occurs overseas, but anyone that's lived in Japan knows this is kind of a bedrock part of Japanese culture, and that is being respectful to the other. And that doesn't just mean people. It, of course, includes people, but it's also place. And this is very interesting because when I was looking at this and researching, I was looking for respect, and in Google, what comes up is self-respect. And there's a tremendous amount of literature about self-respect, which is, of course, very critical. But isn't that so Western, right? It's the focus on the individual, self-respect, which, of course, again, is very important. But what I want to speak about today is what we see in Japanese culture, this kind of respect of the other. And I think it was this gesture by the caddy after winning the Masters tournament is just a great example of that. Now, when you're in Japan, you'll be acknowledged with a bow all the time. It's similar to shaking hands outside of Japan. But there's a degree of respectfulness that I never really experienced in the U.S. It's almost a mindfulness. As an example, when you walk into a store, let's say a convenience store, you're greeted with "Irashaimase," welcome to the store. If you make your purchase, they thank you for your purchase. If you pay with cash, they count the cash out, and they'll count the cash so that you can see them counting it, just being cognizant of the fact that they want to make sure that there's no miscommunication. And then you're handed your bag and you're on your way. It's always a great experience. It's world-class customer service. But why is this respectfulness a superpower? My thought is that it creates a positive feedback loop. So when you visit Japan on the macro level, and people are being polite and respectful to you, you want to do your best to reciprocate that, to give that back to others. And this is also true in the micro level. I think of some of the greatest leaders or bosses or mentors that I've worked with at different companies. They were always the type of individuals that were respectful, that would treat everybody equally, and would engage you and ask how you're doing, acknowledge you. That makes you feel more engaged and want to contribute more. So it's great for a work environment. I also think it's great for just for a culture of a country as well. And the reason I think this is also so powerful is because, and of course we do this around the world. So when I was growing up, we would say a quick prayer before eating dinner. So we were taking a moment to give thanks to God and to whomever cooked the dinner, and who helped prepare the dinner, etc. And it focuses the mind on being grateful, gratitude. And it's very, very hard to be grateful and at the same time angry or upset. This feeling of being grateful is incredibly powerful, and it's a muscle. The more times that you consciously try to be grateful for something, just being aware of how blessed we are, the easier it is to be grateful, and all the positive feelings that come along with that. Now, within the Japanese context, within Japan, there are so many points where people are going through the practice of being respectful, which is very similar to this. It kind of brings up this feeling of grateful. So, for example, from a young age at school, if you're doing bukatsu, the students, I remember when they would come into the gym, they would always say "shitsure shimasu," and and bow, and it's just a moment of acknowledgement that I'm entering your space, and kind of thankful for everything that came to be to make this possible. Now, I don't know if students are thinking that deeply at every time they're saying "shitsure shimasu." Just like every time I was saying a prayer before dinner, if I was really thinking that deeply as well. But nonetheless, when you embed that into a culture in so many different checkpoints, another one is when the store opens, they will greet the customers with a bow and welcome them. I remember many times being in a supermarket in Japan, you see a worker come out onto the floor and they'll pause and they'll bow and then go about their daily work. I remember, this still happens. This is proper manners in Japan, but when you're doing a call for business, when you finish that call, you gently hang up the phone. You don't slam it down. Even though the person on the other end may not be able to hear that, it's just a general respectfulness. And because it creates a positive feedback loop, I call it a superpower. I think it kind of supercharges in a positive direction a group or a society that's doing that, and it has ripple-on effects. So I think it ties into people observe that Japanese streets are often clean. Well, once you start having this kind of awareness, this respect of the other or place, you are more grateful for what you have, then you're less likely to just throw some trash on the ground and to dirty that place. So I think this is a tool that all of us can adopt in our own personal journeys. So this is mission critical for being successful in Japan. If you want to work at a Japanese company, this is mission critical. But I think this is important for personal development, but important for any context, for being a great father, for being a great brother, for being a great sister, teacher, daughter, grandson, colleague. Being respectful and treating others the way that you would like to be treated. And you'll find that as you do that, 9 out of 10 times, others will treat you well. And it creates that positive feedback loop. As always, thank you for your time. Please be sure to ask questions in the comments section, share this content, and if you haven't yet, please do subscribe. We want to build Japan Seikatsu into as large a community as possible to help as many people that are passionate about Japan as we can. Thank you.